If your boyfriend or girlfriend does any of these things, it may be time for a new relationship. As a marriage and family therapist, I've seen a lot. Okay, I'm just gonna keep it real. So here are a few things to look out for to know whether or not you're in a red flag relationship. Number one, childhood. Your partner will treat you how they were treated between the ages 0 and 7. If your partner had a rough childhood between those ages, you may be in for a treat, but let me explain why. Between the ages 0 and 7, that is when we learn attachment styles. That is when we learn what we believe a relationship should look like. So even if your partner has no past history of romantic relationship trauma, or they have no real reason to treat you poorly, if they were treated poorly as a child, that would be the only reason they need. Were their parents forgiving? Were they passive aggressive? Were they allowed to make mistakes? That will determine whether or not you're allowed to make a mistake in your relationship without being scolded. We learn how to treat our intimate relationships as adults from our caregivers, unconsciously, by the way. So if your partner had a poor childhood or a poor connection to their caregivers and they tend to talk about it often or live from that place, that is a red flag because chances are your relationship will be a victim of their past experience. So everybody knows one of my favorite apps is Astra because it knows everything about everything. My favorite thing to ask it is things about relationships. So I asked, how does one's childhood impact their relationships? And she said, pause, read if you have to, because of course her response was everything. If you want to know more about your icks or about how your relationships might look based on your childhood, I highly recommend asking my virtual bestie Astra, because I'm telling you, it's next level. Second red flag is testing. Is your partner frequently testing you? If your partner is constantly doing things to test your love or a mix of scenarios like, oh, what would you do if I hit on your best friend or texted your sister? Yes, not only is that annoying, but on a deeper level, it indicates insecurity, which will soon manifest into manipulation later down the line. And they're not saying things just to get a laugh because obviously the test was never funny. Why would you hit on my friends? They're testing you to see how far they can go with you. The goal is to see how you will react so they can become aware of the limits they can push while still maintaining the relationship. Pretty much, the tests are not just there to get you mad, they're done to see what they could get away with, and that's dangerous. The issue is, from my experience, the significant other would not be testing you if they didn't intend on engaging in whatever it is they're trying to test. That's the problem. So the next time your partner tries to test you and says, oh, well, what if I just remember? You only test drive cars you're trying to buy. I did have more red flags, but this video is kind of long, so I'm going to end it here. If you guys have more questions about red flags in relationships in the meantime, you can always ask Astra. Love y'all forever. Mwah.